for the year 2014. You know, I had the pleasure of knowing Paula long before she became the NEA ESP of the Year. I remember Paula campaigning for the NEA board. I remember her campaigning for the executive committee, and I had the honor of serving with her on the executive committee for 5 years. And you know, the more I got to know Paula, the more I watched her, the more I learned about her. What I realized is NEA had a great leader and ESP had a great champion. She demanded respect for the work that education professionals do, and she was never afraid or stopped or held back from speaking out and challenging anyone who overlooked the contributions of ESP. And she did that by her action. She earned respect by working hard, by being knowledgeable, and making people comfortable enough that they could actually listen to what she had to say. Paula is a leader. She has served as a mentor to so many ESP leaders in states across the country. She single-handedly and collectively with others has helped to identify, encourage, and cultivate those who want to follow in her footsteps. She was elected to the NEA board 14 years ago and then became CTA's ESP leader. During her tenure, the educators in her state voted to make ESP full and equal members of the association. And after that, she became the second ESP member elected to serve on the NEA Executive Committee. In the past year, Paula has continued to work hard to support the work of all educators and to strengthen public education. Of course, for those of us who know her, that is no surprise at all, because she has always been an activist at every level, local, state, and national, and her association has benefited greatly. In her community, she was administrator for a Girl Scout day camp program. In her school, she organized an Adopt a Family program for the staff to collect donations so they could give gift baskets and money to families during the holidays. In her local, she organized a community fund drive and a golf tournament to fund scholarships for children of ESP members. Every time she has had an opportunity to help students or her fellow ESP or any educator, she has worked tirelessly to serve them. I can't think of a better person to represent NEA and the ESP members that we have and all educators than the 2014 NEA ESP of the Year, Paula Monroe.
So before I start my remarks, I would like to introduce the colleagues that have joined me on stage. And I'm going to start with the CTA leadership. If you would just stand. The CTA President, Dean Bogle, the Vice President, Eric Hines, and the Secretary Treasurer, Mickey Chahusky. My CTA board member, Jose Alcala. My good friend Catherine Underwood and Terry Jackson. The 2014 CTA ESP of the Year, and someone who's been with me for a long time, Janet Eberhardt. My local Vice President, Barbara Stewart. Some of my ESP colleagues from California, Terry Roots. Oh, not ESP, but you know, such a dear friend and someone who's always there for me, Sue Cirillo. And then my NCESP colleague for the last 6 years and president of our council, Laura Montgomery. And a dear friend and the Vice President-elect of the National Council of ESP, Debbie Chandler. The first State NEA Director as an ESP, Doreen McGuire-Grigg. Okay. Oh, not too far, I won't be able to read it. No, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. So, hello, NEA. Before I begin my remarks, there are some very special people I want to thank. And since I forgot him in March at our conference, I'm going to start with my husband, Mike, and my family. All of those who know you, all of us who do this work know how our families sacrifice. And I will always be grateful for their support. I want to thank my local RESPA, the Redlands Education Support Professionals. I believe that strong locals are the best asset we have, and I'm proud to say that my local has continued to have strong leaders and advocates. My ESP family, thank you for always lifting me up and having my back. You are always in my heart. My CTA family, we have been on a great journey together, and I want to thank you for always being willing to listen and for all of your support. And then to my NEA family, starting with Dennis and Lily and Becky. It was truly an honor to serve with you and the members of the executive committee. Hang on one second. Dean started this morning. I miss you all, and I'm grateful for your friendship and support. To the NEA Board of Directors over the past 14 years, your friendship and support has meant the world to me. And to you, my fellow educators, I am deeply humbled to be here today. I am following in the footsteps of 22 education support professionals who are all heroes of mine. Those who came before me in this grand procession, I send an immense thank you. From the first ESP of the year in 1992, Peggy Bortello, to Iona Holloway, Gail Rasmussen, Karen Mahern, Richie Malicia, Kathy Axtell, Veronica Henderson, Jamil Williams, Judy Neer, Donna Schultz, just to name a few. Thank you all for the path you laid down for us and the trail you left behind. And to the 32 NEA 2014 state nominees, ESP of the Year state nominees, I am proud to stand among you. You know, brothers and sisters, we cannot do this alone. We need one another now more than ever. Our students come to us from the most diverse circumstances, often highly vulnerable, struggling, and facing the most complex barriers to learning. They live in poverty. They suffer from unmanaged chronic illnesses. Our refugees have been exploited, are undocumented immigrants, or have special learning needs. We, as ESPs and teachers and administrators, all educators, have a moral responsibility to that student to guide them on the journey to their future. That student is a whole and beautiful person. Educators, we must rethink our roles. ESPs and teachers creating new relationships with one another and working collaboratively on behalf of our students and their families. The magnitude of our challenge demands that we work together. We must lift each other up. We need to come together as one community of educators, sharing the great responsibility and the honor of educating America's students. Brothers and sisters, we must also stand united because these are turbulent and tumultuous times for us. We have been cast as villains, greedy, selfish, and even incompetent. They say we have too much influence, that we are all self-serving. Not only are we contributing to the problem, we are the problem. One blogger even accused us of not caring if kids lived or died. It's time to stop the blame game and stop making us a scapegoat. And I'm angry. But my anger is not because it hurts us, but because it ultimately hurts our students, our schools, our families, and our future. While they are attacking, threatening, and suing us, who's focusing on the real problems? While they're trying to silence our voices, what are we doing to address the massive inequities in our country? We need to focus on real solutions to the entrenched social and economic problems that threaten to cripple our nation and destroy our children and students. Violent crime, gun violence, long-term unemployment, drug and substance abuse, racism, sexism, classism, and poverty. In 2012, 1 in every 5 of our students were living below the poverty line. It's a travesty. It's an offense to humanity, a crime that is being committed against our children and our students. I challenge our critics to put down their hammer. We need to stop attacking educators and instead shine a light on the real problems. Our schools are not islands. Our schools can only do so much in mitigating and reducing the problems of our society. Our schools are a reflection of our community, both good and bad. Wouldn't it be convenient if we were the problem? Wouldn't that be an easy and simple solution? However, I believe the solution we seek is no less than improving the world we live in. I am a proud education support professional. For the last 27 years, I have been both a para-educator and a school secretary in the Redlands Unified School District. As ESPs, we live in the communities with our students. We are their parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, and family friends. We know them. We love them and their families. To ESPs, students have always been whole people. ESPs understand each student is unique and that each of them needs special attention and nurturing. We will always recognize that academic success is important to the long-term success of our students. But if we only choose to meet the cognitive needs of our students, we are doing them and our society a huge disservice. We must also attend to their social, emotional, and physical needs. ESPs meet the needs of the whole student every day, ensuring their health, safety, engagement, and support. ESPs teach and nurture our students in the classroom, often our most vulnerable students with special needs. We protect and engage our students on the playgrounds, in the cafeteria, in the classrooms and hallways, and when they're crossing the street. We coach their sports teams and host after-school clubs. We give first aid, provide them with medical assistance when they're sick or injured. We intervene when students are being bullied, ostracized. We create a welcoming school environment for our students and parents. We conduct outreach with parents and the community. We buy the neediest of our students clothes and school supplies. We mentor, befriend, nurture, support, protect, and counsel students. ESPs meet the needs of the whole student. We prepare our students for their today and their tomorrows. I want to spend a little time and talk about a dear friend of mine. Sorry. Her name is Sharon Scott. I think her professional life epitomizes the ESP story, both good and bad. Sharon spent 31 years working in America's public schools, first as a special education aide, until she injured her back trying to lift a student as big as she was. The last 9 years of her service, she was a teacher's aide for all the teachers in her school in all the classrooms. In her district, as in many of ours, there was only one school nurse for every 8 schools. And the school nurse was only able to visit once a week. Sharon attended many workshops to receive training on non-invasive medical procedures. She had a huge caseload, but she never received any additional pay for her work as a school nurse. She often worked through her lunch break because that was when the students needed her most. She arrived early every day to prepare her caseload. Because of her training, she was one of the persons classified to provide critical care in case of a school emergency. Now, Sharon loved what she did and was dedicated to every student and every teacher she served. When Sharon served on the NEA Board of Directors and would miss work because of meetings held in DC, the district would never get a substitute for her. Her principal told her, and I quote, No one can come in and do what you do without special training. You work for so many different teachers and take care of so many special needs students that we wouldn't have time to train or explain what you do. Now, those words only validated what Sharon already knew. While Sharon's story sounds exceptional, and she is, it is also typical of what many of my ESP colleagues do. ESPs work beyond their assigned duties and work day every day. They often miss lunch and breaks to make sure that the needs of students and staff are met. And yet they are rarely acknowledged or compensated for the extra work they do. Sharon recently retired after 31 years of full-time employment. Her annual salary, just less than $14,000 a year. 52% of ESPs who work full-time of ESPs who work full-time make less than $25,000 a year. The federal government recently identified $23,050 as the poverty level for a family of 4. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, Sharon's pension for 31 years of dedicated service in America's public schools, $786 a month. Sharon exemplifies not only the professional excellence of ESPs, but also the courage, tenacity, and perseverance. That's what I admire about my ESP colleagues most. Even while we endure a hail of criticism and disrespect, and even when the courts try to take away our rights, and even when we are not given a living wage, or told that we are not important enough to receive professional development, we still come to school every day and educate America's children. We meet adversity with courage. I have seen it. No matter how bad our circumstances may be, and no matter how insurmountable the problem we face, we ESPs always reach deep inside and persevere. We do it because our students are our first priority. If we are to keep our students whole, healthy, safe, supported, and educated, we must also be whole ourselves. We must always demand better working conditions, benefits, a voice at the table, a fair wage commensurate with the professionals that we are. ESPs must be whole, and our needs must be met too. Now, NEA, I have a vision for our association. I have a vision that I hope you will make a new reality. I have a vision that ESPs and all working families can make a living, save for their children's education, and retire in dignity. I have a vision that educators are, I have a vision that educators, I can do this. I have a vision that educators are all connected through mutual respect and common goals. I have a vision that every school employee works in a safe and nurturing workplace where their unique insights, talents, skills, and perspective enrich the school. I have a vision that each person is valued and respected for the contribution that they make to student success. I have a vision that every NEA state affiliate has an ESP of the Year, and that every state acknowledges the important contributions of ESP members to student success. I have a vision that the largest union in the world, representing 500,000 ESP members, will refer to themselves as a union of educators. And remember that there are several professions in the education workforce. I have a vision that public education affords every student to live the American dream. Martin Luther King said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." I have a vision that all educators will always speak up for what's right, and that my ESP colleagues will never be silent. Be true to yourself, stand up and speak out. NEA, no one person's vision can come true unless it is shared. I ask you, America's educators, and NEA's leadership, to share in my vision. Our ESP members, our teachers, and all educators, and our students deserve no less. Thank you.
NEA 2014 ESP of the Year, Paula Monroe.